Hi, Internet Land. So I'm in Colombia right now. This is my first time out of the US. I had not done any international travel except maybe a month in Canada when I was 12 or something, and like a day of driving through Mexico when I was probably somewhere around the same age. I was actually a little nervous about traveling internationally because I feel so bonded to the United States soil. I'm made up of a bunch of different races, many of which have been in the US for a long time. I have Native American blood too, so I actually had this weird fear about coming to Colombia and not being able to breathe, but not through my nose, through my feet. But that didn't happen. I actually really love it here. It's very lush. I'm in the city of Metagene, and I will take some pictures off the balcony of this condo and show you guys what it looks like. The people here are beautiful, and it's so delicious nature-wise here, and the energy here has this really amazing divine feminine vibe that feels really good, especially since the US has strong divine feminine, but it also has a really strong divine masculine energy kind of running things. And so it's neat to be somewhere that has a little bit of contrast, but none of that is what this video is about. That's just catching you guys up because I haven't been posting lately because I just haven't been called to very much. So this video is going to be about a couple things, really kind of metamorphosis and transformation, because I've been going through that a lot. I have stopped wearing makeup, and I'll do a whole other video on that, but going bareface has brought out definite things in my ego that have been hiding and that I did not know were there. I have experienced really interesting emotional surges as I've cleared out little bits of lack of self-love and self-judgment that I hid on a dark circle under my eye, or a blemish, or whatever, right? Eyelashes that weren't as long as I wanted, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, what this video is really about, because that's the subject of another video, is the vegan Candida issue. I'm almost completely vegan. I go with what my body wants though, so sometimes I oscillate a little bit. I don't really ever eat meat. The problem with going on a Candida cleanse, and Candida, if you don't know what they are, it's one of the healthy bacteria that live in your intestines, and they help you digest your food. But when they get out of whack and get too overpopulated in your system, they cause all these issues like digestive issues, like you have tummy aches after eating, you feel bloated, you might get gassy. I'm pretty sure it causes acne, like breaking out on your face for women and men, although men it's hard to tell. It causes yeast infections, which is a reproductive area thing, which is something that nobody talks about, which I find highly interesting because I think that it's kind of like the gluten thing. You know, there are some people who are totally cool with gluten, but generally not because there's anything wrong with wheat, but because wheat has been so shifted and kind of genetically dealt with and made grow faster but not necessarily nutritious, then it now acts as an allergen to a lot of people. So I think that very many people, even if they might not consider themselves a celiac person, they still have gluten issues. I'm one of those. I don't like gluten. I don't eat gluten. When I eat it, I feel a little more sluggish, unless it's organic or I make it myself, which it's all energetic, you know. So anyway, that's a bigger issue. I have a sneaking suspicion that probably also, especially in the raw vegan community, which I am in and out of, Candida is probably a huge issue. And I think it's one of those things that people just kind of don't realize they have it, because what I'm realizing as I'm going through this process of trying to clear any kind of imbalances out of my body, and usually I am so glowingly healthy, like I'm as vibrant as anybody I know. Several years ago, I made a decision that, and some people might not like this, but it's what's going on for me. I'm not recommending this to anyone else, just for me. I decided after going on a harrying trip to emergency room with a cousin that I would no longer go to a doctor that was not healthier than me. And since then, I have not been to a doctor. I'm healthy. Like, I'm the healthiest person I know. And so the fact that this Candida thing is happening is really boggling to me, because usually my body is so high vibe and so clean and you know, healthy internally and externally that nothing can live in my body that's out of whack. But what I'm realizing in researching Candida and looking back at my life is I think I and probably a lot of other people have Candida overgrowth, especially maybe even systemic Candida, for years and don't even know. I'm realizing that I think, judging from various symptoms of Candida, I've probably had it since I was like 15 or 16, out of whack, and I'm 32 now. So it's a really long time to have something that out of whack in your body and just not really realize it, because I would just drink a cup of peppermint tea after dinner if my tummy was upset and not thinking anything about it. It didn't make sense to me to think that something was wrong, especially because people talk about this kind of stuff all the time. Oh, I have a tummy ache. Oh, that didn't agree with me. But if it's because there are these little organisms in your body that are out of whack, they belong there, but they shouldn't be there in the quantity that they're in, then it can cause weird things. And I finally decided to start going on a Candida cleanse. And I first went off of sugars, which is the first time I've ever done that in my entire life. And it was really hard because most of my energy I get from fruits, from raw things, from juices that I make, from chocolate. I love chocolate. And from raw honey. I love raw honey. I took all of these things out of my diet, and it was really hard. I felt unloved by the universe. I felt like I was being starved by the universe because I didn't know what to eat, because I realized that anything I would pick up to eat was full of sugar, and that sucked. And then I kind of came around to finding out that my body loved instead like fats, like avocados, like good fats, you know, that help lubricate your body and get things going on in there and cleanse you and detox you. And also various other stuff that was working for me. And that worked for about 2 weeks. But what ended up happening was it didn't clear the Candida. My symptoms didn't really go away. They would go away for 1 or 2 glorious days at a time, and then they would just come right back. Just do a little search for Candida symptoms if you want to know what I'm talking about, because it's a long list. And the ones I had, if you have Candida, might not be the ones that you have. And so that seemed to be working until it didn't in the past couple days. And so I've started doing research on it again. And I'm finding out now that apparently cutting sugar out is not the best thing to do for Candida, because apparently if you cut sugar out, the Candida will become systemic and can become systemic and will move up through your digestive system and go into your whole body. And I'm pretty sure that I and many other people, especially women in the raw vegan, vegetarian community, probably have a huge Candida issue that we don't really know about because it's subtle. In my research, I realized that it was really hard to find out what to eat if you're vegan, because a lot of people say, oh, animal protein. I don't eat animal protein. My body doesn't like animal protein. So I couldn't do that. And so I've just been researching and stuff. And now, the reason I'm laying in bed and talking to you, because like a website that I just found this morning, and I don't remember the name, but I will put it below because it's a fantastic website. She writes articles that I think are pretty legit. This girl follows a paleo diet, and I don't follow a paleo diet, but I think it's cool for some people. Whatever, if it works with your body, do it. But a lot of her advice is good regardless of whether you're not doing a paleo diet. But I saw that apparently after a while of doing a sugar cleanse, since your body needs sugar to function right, you can get lethargic, sluggish, weak, lightheaded, and that is happening to me. And I've been doing this for about 2 weeks, and I am exhausted. And I'm usually full of really vibrant energy, and standing up and walking around it doesn't feel good. I don't like it, and it's because my body is not getting the energy it needs. That's the wind blowing my window blinds, y'all. Sorry for the noise, if you can hear. So I'm just recording this to tell you guys that I'm going on this journey, because I'm thinking that if I can figure out this Candida thing, then I'm going to tell you guys what worked, because in researching it, I haven't really found anyone who seems to really know. It seems like a lot of people have a lot of advice, but it doesn't work necessarily. And I think it's kind of one of those, especially because it's kind of taboo to talk about, especially the reproductive stuff. No one wants to talk about a yeast infection, women or men. Like, it's weird and uncomfortable and gross, and, you know, or so people think. I don't think that's true at all necessarily, but I know that I've always felt that way if the subject comes up, and other women probably do too. Interestingly, women don't even talk to women about that. You would think that it was something that would be safe to talk about, but not really. And I find that whenever it is talked about, it's a relief in the women around that they can finally talk about this thing. So this video is just basically to tell you that I'm trying to crack the code of a vegan/vegetarian, because every now and then, when it's in flow and when the supplies are really good and clean and in proportion to what's going on the planet, I do eat things like cheese or eggs sometimes. So it might include stuff like that, but you just have to tweak it if it's for your diet and you're not doing that, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Once I figure it out, I'm going to tell you guys what worked for me, because like I said, I have a sneaking suspicion that there are a lot of people going through this and they just don't realize it, or they think the symptoms, they're just not noticing them. This is the main thing that I'm super excited about, is that if this has been something that has been affecting me, because it's not only affecting your digestive system and sometimes your reproductive system, which is a problem, obviously, it also affects things like your stress levels, your mood swings. I notice that when I'm having candida symptoms, like when I'm having bloating and it's hard for me to digest my food and stuff like that, I get irritable as hell, so irritable. And I generally am a very happy person, so I notice, and I don't like it, obviously. I think that if it really clears, and if I really come into balance with everything in these ways that I haven't been in my entire life, then I don't even know what it'll be like, because it's been going on for the past 17 years. So I can't even say, and I'm excited to find out. So I'm just going to kind of record and document this journey with you guys. I will find something out at the end. I don't attack these things and not win. So I'm going to figure it out sooner or later, and I'll let you know what happens. I hope you're all doing well. I'm really loving Colombia. I wish I had taken a crash course in Spanish before coming, because I don't understand anything, and that is very frustrating for me. Some people don't mind not speaking the language, but I'm finding that I do. So from now on, when I travel internationally, I'm gonna figure out ways to understand the language a little bit when I go, at least enough to get around and communicate. Because especially as an empath and an intuitive and a reflector, according to human design, I feel what people are feeling. And when people just look at me and feel confusion, and I'm trying to connect with them, and I get a big old question mark pointed in my direction, it freaks me out. I don't like it. So that's what's going on here. And I will post more, I think. I'd like to share some of what's going on with you guys. I've been a little reclusive because I've needed to do some cleansing with my not the people on the internet, but the actual computer energies. I've been getting EMF'd out a lot, so I haven't wanted to be on the computer very much or do things like this, but I feel it coming back up. So much love to all of you, no matter what you're going through. This is a weird time on this planet right now, but it always is, right? There's always something happening. So I am just rocking mine as best as I can, having as much fun as possible, and living as much in alignment as I can muster. And I hope that all you guys are too. And I would love to share this with you as I figure it out, maybe make a program about it or something. I don't know. But once I figure it out, I definitely will, because it's not fun to have things out of whack. That's how we age. If we just keep clearing things when they come up, then who knows how long we can live and be thrivingly, vibrantly healthy. And that's what I'm all about in this body this time. We already know how to have our bodies break around us and go through that beautiful growing old paradigm, but we haven't really figured out, not very many of us, there are definitely exceptions, but how to stay young and vibrant for a super long time. And I'm kind of into that, so we'll see how it goes. But like I said, much love to y'all, and take care of yourselves and love each other, and I will see you again soon.